Now, most of you will have already heard about this already. Some of you mentioned it in the comments yesterday on the videos. This is being covered by all mainstream media, so some of you will be saying it's a psyop, but I can't see what they might hope to gain from this that would benefit the establishment. In fact, this would do the exact opposite. 93-year-old Donald Burgess died on the 13th of July this year after he was tasered, battened and parva sprayed in a care home in Leonards-on-Sea in East Sussex. Donald was a one-legged, wheelchair-bound dementia sufferer who on the 21st of June had the police called on him by care home staff reporting that he was threatening them with a knife. Now, I haven't yet been able to identify what kind of knife Donald is supposed to have had, but at the most I can only imagine it would have been a steak knife, seeing as he couldn't exactly go out and buy a zombie knife. But it's more likely, in my opinion, having worked in care homes myself, to have been a dinner knife. Generally, food is very soft and cooked to a point where you don't need a sharp knife. And yes, I know with enough force they can be dangerous, but Donald was hardly likely to have had the strength to do much damage with a dinner knife. But again, we don't know for sure what kind of knife it was at the moment. Donald, who was described as a lovely man by his old neighbours, was eventually arrested, handcuffed and transported to hospital for treatment for his injuries inflicted by the police, but sadly died 3 weeks later. Now, all of the reports, and I mean all of the reports that I've found, say that after engaging with him briefly, one of the officers pepper sprayed him and then used his baton on him while the second officer tasered him. They're all using that sentence, that paragraph, which points out to me a very important fact. They engaged with him briefly, as in for a very short space of time. No doubt, had they engaged for a bit longer, Donald would have come through his, I presume, dementia episode and realised what was going on and surrendered the knife. Now, I don't know much about dementia. I'm not going to pretend to, but I do know that most people will have episodes of being okay and then episodes of not being okay. And it sounds to me like he was having a not okay moment. After the incident, Sussex Police referred themselves to the IOPC on the 28th of June over allegations of excessive force, but since Donald Burgess died, they are now investigating the two police constables for manslaughter. Now, the two bullies have also now been served with gross misconduct papers, although the gross misconduct hearing will likely take some time, as a criminal investigation should be completed before the misconduct hearing is held, and obviously there's going to be an awful lot to go through. So that will leave another two plod on paid leave. The IOPC have said that although the two police constables have been served gross misconduct notices and are now under investigation for manslaughter, it does not necessarily mean disciplinary proceedings or criminal charges will follow. Not that they need to tell us that. Donald's actual cause of death is at the moment unknown, as the post-mortem results are waiting to be released. IOPC Regional Director Graham Beasley said, "I want to express my sympathies to the man's relatives and those who knew him. We have advised his next of kin of our independent investigation and explained the steps we will be taking. This will include investigating whether the force used by the two officers against the male was reasonable, necessary and proportionate in the circumstances, and in line with local and national policing policies, procedures and guidance." Sussex Police Assistant Chief Constable Tanya Jones said, "We want to express our sympathies to the family and friends of Mr Burgess. Our thoughts remain with them at this difficult time. We are providing every assistance to the IOPC to allow for a thorough investigation and for the family to receive the answers they need." Neighbours at his former home, which he shared with his wife before she died of cancer, said, "Oh, what a tragedy. He was a lovely, sociable man. He and his wife Ethel lived here for years and they were a lovely couple. Ethel got cancer and the last time she went into a hospice, I promised her I'd look after Don. This is so upsetting. I can't believe it. How terrible." After Ethel died, he had his own carers, the neighbour added, but after he had his leg amputated due to diabetes, he only came back for one night before he had to go into a care home. Another neighbour said that he must have developed dementia after he went into the care home because he was always fine when he was here. We liked him. He was a friendly old guy. I think the death of his wife hit him very hard. They were both lovely. I don't remember Don having any hobbies like gardening or watching sport, but I know he liked to watch the TV. He was a nice, gentle old man. What has happened to him has left me stunned and shocked. It's absolutely dreadful. Now, I know some of you already know about this story, but this report isn't to simply regurgitate what the mainstream media has said. It serves as a record here on the channel of the terrible things that can and do happen at the hands of the police. Two young, strapping coppers, no doubt, attend a care home to deal with a wheelchair-bound man with dementia, one leg and diabetes, and they couldn't resolve the issue without using every one of their weapons and tools for torture on the poor fella. I keep saying it, the police seem to have this unofficial policy of weapons use to assert your dominance in the first instance, then try to engage with people once you've already beaten or injured them. This will make them less likely to cooperate, which will help us slap on more charges of obstruction, resisting, or if we're really lucky, assault an emergency worker, and allows us to get hands on. I mean, how sad. And let's not kid ourselves here. Even if the post-mortem says he had a coronary or something like that, you can bet that whatever it was directly linked to being tasered, pepper sprayed and beaten with a metal extendable baton. Fuck you, Sussex Police.